Welcome back to the Forensic Detailing channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Now today we're going to talk about the subject of potholes and what happens if your car gets damaged and why it might be pointless for you to go through and fill out an incident report form and all that sort of stuff with the council because they're never going to pay you in certain circumstances. So this will save you time. Pay attention to this, guys, and I've claimed a few times successfully, okay? And I've learned now through that process what happens. Now, this is a timeline. This is not a row. This is not a road. Now, let's say it's 1st of March. Oh, Jesus. 2024. This is your timeline. At this point, pothole occurs in the road. That pothole is born. Something happens, an event happens, a lorry usually turns over a bit of tarmac and rips it loose and takes a big chunk out of it. Now, here's some relevant information. There's different categories of potholes. I believe, and you guys can correct me on this, the biggest severe category is when a pothole is more than 10 centimetres deep. That makes it the top category as far as I know. Okay, now, that pothole exists. Let's say you come along here. This could be 2 months. In 2 months' time, right? That pothole exists there. And in April, May, on the 1st of May, you come along and you hit that pothole. Boom, in your car, and it damages your car. You contact the council and you fill out an incident request form and they come back to you and say, we're not liable for that pothole. Even though it's meets their criteria of being the biggest size, not like some Mickey Mouse one, that's a proper chunker. But 2 months later, you hit it and they don't pay out. If you understand why they don't pay out and how they might not be able to pay out in that scenario, that's the key to understanding whether it's worth your time. Now, normally what happens is when a pothole occurs, loads of people are going to start hitting it at this point. Now, at some point in the timeline, somebody is either going to report that to the council, okay? They're going to phone them up and say there's a massive pothole here and give them the location of it. Or, if no one reports it, periodically, I think once a month, the council go out in their van or drive around and do a road inspection report and observe any potholes. So at some point, either a call from Joe Public or monthly road inspection, I think it's monthly, road inspection. Okay, you getting this? So at this point, the council are now aware of the pothole from one of two means, okay? So we call that date, let's say 1st of April, okay? That's not a joke, it's no joke. I shouldn't go, 1st of April. Okay, so it's been reported and they now know about it and it's 10 centimetres deep, it's top severity. Now they have different criteria for how to fix this, okay? So because this is the top criteria of more than 10 centimetre deep, I think there's probably going to be a width to that as well, isn't there? Don't know what the width is, put it in the comments, that'd be useful information. That's top priority. Now under their duty of care, the council then, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be wrong here, but I think they have 5 days, I believe, 5 working days to repair that pothole. So let's say that's 12, let's say 11, because I don't know where we're at, 11 a.m. it gets reported. So on the, whatever, on Monday, then 5 working days would be, would it be the Monday, you have to have 7, so it'd be Monday the 8th here. So basically, they've got 5 working days, so they've got up to 11 a.m. on Monday the 8th to repair this. If you hit the pothole any time here, the council are not going to pay you because they have not breached their duty of care. There's no way they can pay out for every single person that hits that pothole when they don't even know about it, because that's not fair, is it? There has to be some sort of breach of some sort of reasonable duty of care service level. So that reasonable duty of care is 5 days for a severe sized pothole from when it was reported. The times are very important. So if my sizes are wrong and my times are wrong, correct me in the comments. But this is going to give you the gist of how it works. So there's no point in you reporting that you've hit that pothole from there to there, because they don't give a monkeys, because they haven't breached anything. So they'll tell you, well, they'll wait for months and tell you your claim has been unsuccessful. So this is where you can save time. So the only piece of information you know is when you hit the pothole, where the pothole was, and the size of the pothole, okay? The size. So you must make sure the size is deeper than 10 centimeter. You must make sure you take a photo of the pothole for yourself. Don't worry about the council's process, for yourself. You must know where it is, so find out the road name and take a photo a bit further back so you can see where it sits on the road. So fetters. And when you hit it, okay, time and date. Time and date. Time, so TT, DD, month, year, whatever. So here's the thing. So before you go to the council, and they'll get you to fill out an incident request form. Well, that's what they used to do. I remember when I'll talk about this afterwards, but they didn't always do that. Incident request form, where you go through and fill it out. Well, them getting you to fill out that form probably gets rid of about 70 to 90% of people that hit the. They contact the council and they're furious. I've hit a pothole. What am I going to do? You've got to fill out a form. That will get rid of about 70 to 90% of people that are too lazy and not persistent enough to fill out a form. They know that. That's why they get you to fill out the form. Right, first of all, don't bother wasting your time filling out the form. What you do is you contact the council, and under a freedom of information request, you ask for the monthly inspection report, okay, for your road. And this report, which is all of the phone calls, from Joe Public. John Bloggs called on the, 1st of April, 11 a.m. and reported this pothole. And they keep that in a little log. And I think it's called, is it called an SCS report or something? I can't remember what it's called. Google it. It's a way of, them recording what reports are. So you request that SCS report, that's that, and you request the monthly inspection report. And what you do is you go and look through those reports and see if your pothole that you've got the details of has been reported. And all you want to know is that date. Because once it's reported, once you know it's your pothole, you've located it, and that's when the council got wind of it. If you hit it in these 5 days, you're wasting your time filling out that incident request form, because they ain't going to pay you, because they've not breached their duty of care. So it's only if you know you hit it on, let's say, Tuesday the 9th of April, 5 o'clock in the evening or whatever, 1700, then they failed their duty of care. They've not repaired it for so long, and you've hit it. Then they may be liable. Okay, and then your claim may be successful. So, what's your experience of claiming for potholes? I've claimed for 2 in about 15 years or 14 years. One was about 14 years ago. Okay, let me tell you my story and how what happened with that. This is important. I was driving along. I hit a pothole, and it buckled my alloy and instantly deflated my tyre, and it was like a big bang. It was like driving over a log. Boom! And I was like, oh Jesus, what the hell was that? Got out, and the whole section of road, which was semi-rural, still quite, not really a busy road, but it was actually over towards Sidlesham area, if you know West Sussex, that part of it. And there's lots of commercial vehicles going into nurseries and pulling out. And it was a turning out of a nursery where all these long 40-foot, Arctics turn and drag the concrete. And the whole area was just a dog's dinner of potholes, loads of tiny ones, delaminated surface, a couple of big ones, and a massive pothole, the one I hit. And then by it was a road cone that said property of, district, county council, whatever. So someone had put that road cone next to it from the council to warn you, because it was a real stonker. So I knew they knew about it. Anyway, I didn't know what the process was. I sent them an email, and I can't remember if they got me to fill out an incident request form. I think they did, or they might have asked for details of it. Anyway, months later, I'd forgotten about it. I got an email back from them, and they said, thank you for reporting the pothole, and you're sorry to hear you've damaged it, but your claim has failed. There was no reported pothole in that particular area at that time. And I read that and I thought, oh, okay. And I was about to give up, so fair enough, all right, I understand. And I just suddenly thought, no, there was a council cone there. Someone had been there from the council. It was marked up as well. So they knew about that, I think. I was 99% sure they knew about it. So I said to them, just in the email, you know, you've painted around it. There's loads of potholes and you've got one of your cones there. Are you sure? How do I know that you're telling me the truth? And then they said to me, well, you can inspect you can ask for the road inspection report, John, and the other report I was telling you about reported potholes. So I said, okay, how do I do that? Anyway, I went and did that under a Freedom of Information request, and I looked in there, and the pothole I reported was in there, and it had been in there for like weeks. So I replied back and said, look, here, line 7 of your monthly road inspection report, there's the pothole. It's exactly the same as the one I reported. Within about 2 seconds of me sending that email, I got a reply back saying, we've reviewed your case and we're happy to say we can pay out for your, you know, the damage to your car. If you go and get the work done to repair it, we'll pay 80% of that price. 80%. But anyway, I thought, well, that was a result. But then I thought, did they even just check that, or did they just say no by default? That's what left me with a slight, things that make you go, you know, were they being a bit dishonest? I'll never know. So let's just assume it was a clerical error or something like that. Anyway, all was well and good. So I had that kind of repaired, you know, and they paid 80%. Now, wind the clock forward about another 10 years. About 3 or 4 years ago on the channel when I had the M140, you might have remembered me showing it. I hit a pothole going down Goodwood, down Kennel Road, which is pretty bad actually. Again, there's a quarry down there. You get these really laden lorries pulling out and turning on that road. It delaminates it. It's a terrible road. Again, just driving down there and bang, got the mother of all bangs. Got out and there was this huge pothole and I wasn't the most happiest person. Anyway, I didn't have a camera. I just didn't have a camera. I didn't have my phone on me. I can't remember what it was, but I was just out. Didn't have my camera. So I got home, you know, didn't know if I'd buckled the wheel. The car felt sort of okay. And then the next day, I grabbed my camera and drove it back down there. I think it was the next day. But the pothole had been repaired. It was there. It was all covered in tarmac. So I thought, oh, Jesus. I've got no chance of claiming here. I've got no chance, because they've repaired it, so they're never going to pay me if I've repaired it. Anyway, my alloy was really badly damaged, and BMW were doing a free pothole inspection thing. It literally come up on my email like after I hit it, you know. So I took it to BMW, and they said, yeah, there's damage to the alloy, suspension, steering rack, control arms, the whole lot, and it's going to be about £5,000. And I was like, oof, you know, oof. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go through the complaints process with the council. And I told them when I hit it, the day, you know, before that it'd been repaired, and I didn't have a picture of it. You know, I filled out the incident request form, told them all the info. Literally, didn't get a reply for like 6 months, or don't quote me on that time, but a long time. Forgot about it really completely. I'd sent a few nudges a couple of weeks after it, you know, and they were extremely busy, couldn't take time to process it. But yeah, after about 6 months, I sent another nudge to them saying, you know, what's going on with this? You know, I've put the request form in. Nothing happened. Then a few months later, I got an email come through. I'd given up on it. It said, your claim has been successful. We will pay all of the cost of the damage to repair the car. And I had all the paperwork, gave it to them, and they paid it. Couldn't believe it. Because I think, again, it happened on day X that they knew about, and I didn't even request any of this that time around. But again, I'd hit it just before they'd repaired it. So I think if you meet that requirement where they look at it and they think, oh yeah, we're liable, we've failed our duty of care, you've got a chance. But 99% of times when people hit a pothole, the council don't know about it. So there's no point in contacting them like anywhere along here. You can only contact them after they've been told about it. And you find out if they know about it from the monthly inspection report or the incident report form that they have, whatever it's called, road incident report form from Joe Public. And it's gone 5 days after they found out. So there you go, guys. That is how you can save yourself time, because there's no point in even going through that incident form and telling them you've hit a pothole if they're not liable, which is kind of, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. So I can't be too cynical about all of this, because actually the only 2 times I've damaged my car that I know of from hitting potholes, I've been successful. So that's quite a good thing. Like I say, it's not an easy process to go through, and the cynical side of me thinks they're very slow to reply, because that also filters out people. They just give up. You know, if you don't reply for 6 months, half the amount of people will have forgotten about it and moved on. But I'm funny like that. I'm funny like that. I'll put a little calendar note in my phone, and I won't forget. It will remind me. So you've got to be funny. You've got to be determined. You've got to have a bit of instability about you. It's got to bug you to the point where you feel like you're being robbed and you keep going. I have to tell you another story about that in a second on the Unplugged channel. So if you like these little stories, I'll tell you another story where I've just come good. I've had a result today about something that I never thought I'd get a result for. Anyway, that's it. I want you to put in the comments your stories about potholes. Correct me on anything I've got wrong here, because I am doing this all from memory. Maybe things have changed. Maybe I've got some stuff wrong. And maybe you've been through some really tough times with potholes and know more about this and can add to this. So put in the comments what's going on, guys. Other than that, don't forget to subscribe. Take care, and I'll see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel. Over and out. Doug. Let's do a double Doug. Double Doug. 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 Doug.